Speaking of joy, I am very overjoyed to bring our next trend writer to the stage. Amy Eisinger is a writer, editor, digital creator who covers health and wellness. For the past 15 years, she's led creative teams at Well & Good, Self, The New York Post, and she's written for a ridiculous amount of publications, New York Daily News, LA Times, Washington Post. She's been on the Today Show. You know, she's just fabulous. We're so excited that she's joining us here to present her trend on Women in Sports, The Revolution Continues. Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Sit in the middle.
Sit in the
in
middle.
between us.
Cozy. Hi, everyone. Okay, I was told that I only have 4 minutes, so I'm going to keep this really. Oh my God! And the clock has already started. Oh Jesus. Okay. Whew, here we go. All right. So I'm here to talk about the burgeoning global economy around women's sports. So according to a 2025 report from Deloitte, just to put this into perspective, women's sports was $1.88 billion in 2024 and is projected to have grown to $2.35 billion for 2025. Most of that's coming from North America, like 56%, but there's a huge global influx that we're seeing. I think this trend is being fueled in sort of like a multifactorial approach in the shifting way that we're looking at women's bodies. I'm so excited to see the women's longevity kind of being part of this trend because it really is all part of that same conversation, I think. So, all right, so what's really fueling the trend? The boom of women's sports leagues and organization. So just a whole new slew of leagues that are coming out from, the Women's Hockey League, which formed in 2023. There's One Volleyball. There's Project B, which is a new basketball league out of Saudi Arabia. And then, of course, things like, Michelle Kang, the billionaire philanthropist who recently announced pouring $55 million into women in sports as part of the creation of the Kang Women's Institute. So again, just like huge momentum growing around women's sports leagues and women's organizations. I think there's also the power in female fandom. That's kind of the second part of this. Where would sports be without the fans, right? Maybe you don't play sports, but you sure do love to watch them. So this is about the huge rise that we've seen in the number of women's sports bars, of which the very first one was called the Sports Bra. And now there are a whole ton of other, slew. There's like a half dozen or so around the US, Rough and Tumble, Title IX, a bar of their own. And there are many more that are set to open in 2026. This is big money too. Serena Williams' husband, Alexis Ohanian, has also invested in franchising the sports bra so that we can expect to see a lot more of these, I think, popping up around the country. All right, next up. As part of this trend, female athletes as marketing powerhouses. This is something that you kind of go like, yeah, okay, we've seen a lot of female athletes like shilling for various brands over the years, right? But I think that what we're really seeing that's changing here, like the real shift in this, is that they're centering the athlete so much more. The athletes are getting to use these brands and really align with maybe their own personal platforms or their own personal ethos. So no longer is it just like, they're wearing the Citizen watch and they're, hitting a tennis racket or something, but like they're really fully integrated into these campaigns in a really thoughtful and poignant way. Just one quick example of that. Coco Gauff debuted a 6-piece collection with American Eagle during the 2025 US Open, also an extremely accessible price point, right, on that brand. So we also see athletes no longer just working with the luxury brands, but really working with these very big mall brands. And one of the main pieces of that collection was an oversized denim jacket that said, "Thank you to the people who didn't believe in me," which was capitalizing on a viral moment that she had on social media that then American Eagle took, put it on the jacket. She's really part of that campaign. It's not just a logo slap with her face, right? Okay, next up. Everyone gets in on the game. I love this part of the trend as well. So this is really about the trickle-down effect, grassroots organizations, all of the different sports leagues that are popping up. You've heard us talking about, pickleball, of course, being such a huge explosion in that area. Women are really leading the trend, I think, especially in some of these more like non-traditional sports, like table tennis, other types of racquetball, badminton, things like that as well. And then finally, The last part of this trend, I think, is really about shifting from smaller to stronger, which again, I feel like is sort of a theme that we've been hitting on in a couple of different ways this morning as well. It's less about going to the gym and seeing how much you can slim down, and really the rise in strength training, the rise in it's okay to bulk up, the rise in lifting heavy. As an example, Center, which is the brand that was founded by Chris Hemsworth, has launched an app-based training program in October. It's a 12-week foundational strength training program from strength expert Alex Silver-Fagan. So again, like these programs that are being led by these like huge kind of influencers, these really big strength training advocates. And I guess I'll just close out, because I only have 10 seconds. I'm just going to close out really quick by saying that I think that like equal pay, equal representation, equity, like these are all kind of like table stakes things when it comes to women's sports. But where I really hope to see this trend kind of go in the future is that it really continues to just shift the cultural conversation around how we think about what women's bodies are actually capable of.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thanks so much.
I know, and it's these new cultures, the sports bars, and and these new leagues. It's just so fascinating, and it reminded me of when we were talking to Anna Burston, when we were gathering trends this year. One of her predictions was, given sharpening gender divides in culture, it's just more women's wellness everything. Resorts, retreats, sports, longevity. So social clubs, which is what these are. But I agree with you that what's the really interesting thing about this is, it's amazing to see women's pro sport athletes take off, make some money, but it is changing fitness from like lonely, aestheticized experiences at the gym to like really empowering, social, competitive, sports, and
Yeah, totally. I think there's also there's so much to be said about also I think women staying in on, or women getting in on sports too, like later in life, kind of speaking to that whole longevity aspect as well, of like looking for these sports that don't necessarily feel like they're so high impact, right? Like you take pickleball or something, right? Like a way to kind of stay involved in a sporting community or stay involved in a strength training community at any age, which I think is really important too.
well, that's why pickleball went.
I know. Yeah, of course.
All right. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you
We have
so
to
much.
move on to our next trend. Thank you so much, and thanks for joining.